In this video, we are going to be looking at problems that has to do with germ cell development. And in this case, we are going to be focusing only on the part of oogenesis. When we said oogenesis, what comes to your mind or what do you understand by the word oogenesis? Let's break it down together. The word genesis simply means creation. The oo is simply an abbreviation which is being derived from the word oocyte. Therefore, the oogenesis is simply the process of egg cell formation in female organisms. You might be wondering why oogenesis is for female only. You need to understand that only female have what we call the ovaries, and those ovaries are organs where the oogenesis takes place. Here we have the typical picture of the ovaries. As you can see, this is what we call the uterus, and here we have the ovary, fimbria, and we have the fallopian tube. And we all need to understand that every living organisms have to follow this process in the female ovum. What do you understand by the word oogonium? Feel free to pause the video and try it. When we said oogonium in simple terms, oogonium is a cell found in ovary of a female organisms that develop into egg cell. Through the process of oogenesis, you can also call the oogonium a stem cell. And we all need to understand that oogonium are unspecialized cells. And here we have a roughly sketch of the oogonium. Oogenesis begins during the fetal development. It starts with primordial germ cell differentiating into oogonia during the fetal stage. This oogonia then undergo mitotic division and transform into primary oocyte. What I have here on the screen is what I call the process of oogenesis. If you look at my screen, I somehow dissect it into two different parts. The up here, which is the superior axis, we have the 2N, which are in green, and we have 1N, and 2N down here. And if you would notice here, we have things are in blue. This simply means that they are diploid, because the 2N means diploid and 1N means haploid. Let's take an example with numbers of chromosomes. If we have completely 46, this means that they are diploid, and if they are 23, this means they are haploid. So if you multiply 23 by 2, it's simply going to be 46. If you notice here, by our left-hand side, I have BB, which simply means before death. And here we have AP, after puberty. Yeah. Here we have before birth, and here we have after puberty. So in this case, what I'm trying to explain here is this. The first diploid which we have in the stage of oogenesis, this simply happens before they give birth to someone. And the second one, which is the division, the Meiosis division at 1N, that is the haploid, this happened after puberty. If you notice here we have before birth. What happened before birth? Before birth, a female baby has all her eggs already formed in her ovaries. And there are tiny sacs which we call them primordial follicles. Let's write it down. Before then, we call them primordial follicles. And up here we have what we call the oogonium. Notice that the oogonium begins with 46 set of chromosomes. Therefore, they are going to be diploid. We have 46 set of chromosomes. And here also, and the process which it takes here, we call the process the mitosis. If you notice here, also we have a 2N, which means it's diploid. Here also we have 46 numbers of chromosomes. The process here, which we call the mitosis, actually gives the identical division of one cell. Here we have one cell. It gives the identical division. That is where both of them become 46 numbers of chromosomes. So, and this identical division of one cell, it actually becomes the primary oocyte. If that's the case, therefore here we call it the primary oocyte. What happens when the first cell divides into identical? The other one goes back and replaces the cell that just divided. so that they can maintain the population of the cell in order to continue the cycle, unlike the way it happens in males. If you notice here, my line, we call it before birth and after puberty. So this is the last thing before the puberty. So in primary oocyte development, the female reaches the puberty. Each month, a few primordial follicles start to develop. One of them grow into a primary oocyte, which is an immature egg. Alright, this is mitosis. Therefore, at this point, we are going to have the process which we call meiosis. In this case, the primary oocyte then undergo a process which we call it Meiosis I. That is first one, where it's divided into two cells. Here we have the big one and the small one. And the small one, we call it the first polar body. That is first polar body, P body. We can call FP body, first polar body. And the larger one, we call it the secondary oocyte. Therefore, this one we call it the secondary oocyte. Next here we have another meiosis, which we call it Meiosis II, which is also on the secondary oocyte. The secondary oocyte state is a process called Meiosis II, but unfortunately, it pauses at a certain stage. It only completes Meiosis II if fertilization occurs. At this point, all the chromosomes are lined up, and we are simply going to have half of them. Therefore, at the secondary oocyte, we are going to have 23, since it's half, 23 numbers of chromosomes. Everything stops at the secondary oocyte. It remains at this stage. It can only complete the Meiosis II if fertilization occurs. And we said fertilization is the fusion of male and female gamete in order to produce offspring. Remember, this is what we call the secondary oocyte. In order for this division to complete at Meiosis II, the sperm must bring its own 23 pairs of chromosomes. Therefore, this is what I draw as the sperm. When this sperm brings its own 23 pairs of chromosomes, 23 plus here we have 23, it moves down here, it's also 23. Therefore, we're going to have 23 plus 23 pairs of chromosomes, which is simply going to be 46. What we have here with the sperm, they combined and produce what we call the fertilized egg. So this is it for this problem. I hope you find it very helpful. I also have videos on nitrogen cycle, skeletal system, passive diffusion of drugs, and properties of water. Feel free to like, share, and